Welcome to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement, part of the Treehouse Podcast Network. I'm your host, Steve Rutherford. Co-host for today's show, Detective Curtis Hadley.
Great to be here, Steve.
Welcome back, Curtis.
Thank you.
And we are joined with two guests in studio today. We've got retired Detective Bob Allwardt and retired Deputy Constable Bonnie Watt. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, everybody doing okay today?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Curtis. Again, it's good to have you back.
It's been a while. I'm glad to be back, man.
You've been taking a break.
Yes, it was nice break. Got a little mental thing here, so we're back. We're full force.
Okay. All right. Bring the humor, bring the comedy with you today. Let me see. Anything new going on?
And where, in my life or just in general?
Anything new going on that you'd like to share?
Do I really want to share it? No.
Okay.
I did take the sergeant's exam for promotions. Unfortunately, I did pass it well, but it's not going to be enough to break them off the list. But hey, there's next year. So
how not enough to break them off the list? So how many need to retire and or
about 25 or 30 would help.
Oh, Lordy.
If
If you wanted to retire early, I might know a guy that does financial planning. His name is Steve. He might be on this show.
Yeah, you might be able to retire sooner than you think.
Yeah.
Try to help you out.
I will start passing cards out next week to all the guys I think that have lived their full life. So
yeah, you can retire early, and that gets you further up the. Okay,
it's a win-win because I can also get him as guest too. Here, well, get him as guest, and then we corner him into retiring. We have 12 months, man. We can make this.
Curtis, let's talk after the show. I think we're onto something here. Okay. Now, yesterday, Karen and I, we actually went and did a charity Top Golf competition with the chief deputy here in Wise County, who's a friend of ours. He invited us to go. Obviously, he didn't know I don't play golf because we didn't come close to winning any kind of competition.
You washed your balls where you went, didn't you?
Does it sound worse if
Titleist.
Sound worse if I say use theirs?
Mine were in the shop, aka Karen's purse. But
mine are in the shop.
Sorry.
Now, Tarrant County Sheriff Bill Wayburn, Sheriff Bill was there, so had a good conversation.
He's always a joy.
Yeah, had a good conversation with him, so it was a good time. But yeah, I proved to myself that I still should avoid playing golf because I suck at it. So, all right, moving right along. Now, Bob, you are a retired detective, correct?
That's correct.
How many years did you do in law enforcement?
Total was 44 years, not including military time.
So you served in the military as well?
Oh, yes.
Well, thank you for your service, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And 44 years after your military service, you did 44 years in law enforcement. What all agencies did you work for, sir?
I went to work for Dallas Sheriff's Office in 1974. I stayed with them both after time in detentions, CSI, patrol, special investigations until 2000, and then it was time to retire, if you understand.
Oh, absolutely.
I was then recruited by the district attorney in Ellis County, just south of there, came on board with him as a criminal investigator with forensics background. I stayed there until 2017, and then once again politics, and it was time to retire on it. So the last 2 years, I went to a little city just on the edge of Ellis County. They had 2 cold case double homicides they wanted me to resurrect. Well, I got them together before I left because of politics. I know who did it. I know where the people are, but how that'll come out, I don't know anymore.
So a lot of politics in your career.
I'm afraid it is in most of the careers in law enforcement.
45 years is a long time, man.
Yeah, it absolutely it is.
Mama says 44 years is it. She says, now I'm the commander.
Yeah.
I mean, your career might have even started in BC and went over to AC.
Yes.
Now, Bonnie, you retired as a deputy constable.
Correct.
How many years in law enforcement for you?
I did 27 years. I worked 24 years for the Dallas County Sheriff's Department from 1981 until 2004. And then I transferred to Precinct 5 Constable's office in Dallas County and retired in 2007.
Good deal. Good deal.
And I also spent 6 months down in Ellis County doing fugitive transport for them.
So, hey, a full career.
Yes, sir.
All right, 27 years total.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you going back?
I would go back if they would give me a nice little office in a room with a door on it, a telephone, and I don't see any of the civilians in the world today.
Okay.
You can hang up a phone pretty quick.
You still have about 15 years less than Bob. So I mean,
Yeah, well, he started out younger than me.
he did.
So, and I don't have a military background, so that kind of makes him more of a seasoned individual.
Well, they just told me I was prematurely old.
Now we go back to Bob, and you talk about starting out. You shared a story from your academy days with me.
Oh, yes.
Wait, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the academy at that time in 74, I believe it was, and don't hold me to the exact dates because now some of the dates are not real.
But Bob, I'm not going to hold you to any dates. I don't remember what I ate
Had
for
for
lunch
breakfast.
yesterday. Yeah, or breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this was in a grade school, is where they had the academy in Irving, is where they held classes.
This is for Dallas County, the
Yes.
Sheriff's Office Academy.
Yes, and there was only 12 of us there on it. So, yes, it was kind of an interesting academy, and I think when we went through, it was about 250 hours is all, and that's state mandated. So, we had some good instructors. One of the guest speaker we had was Justin Wilson, and he was every bit the man that you'd see on TV or believe he was. He was really good on it. The classes were kind of informal. There was no uniforms. There was nothing yes, sir, and no, sir. You were there to learn, and that was about it on it. But yes, some of the things that went on were kind of comical, and some of the comedy fell on me. There was an afternoon I was sitting back against the desk, the ladies behind me, and two of them thought it would be great fun to take this bottle of hand lotion and pour it down the back of my shirt. And before I realized it, yes, I had plenty of hand lotion. I had a nice soft back of it.
That's not right.
Well, just let it roll off your back, Bob.
Yes, it did. Well,
it rolled down your back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to say that ladies have a much more imagination on things to do for like that than most guys, because you all are just kind of in a narrow corridor. Well, we did this, let's do it again with somebody else, kind of thing.
Well, we like to, we got to direct our resources.
If it works, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that backfired on them.
Backfired.
One of the ladies, and I'll mention no names.
No names.
Was Bonnie knows the story. We had the instructor was explosives ordnance demolition deputy that had been there for a long time, all the way back to Sheriff Decker. He was giving the class, and the girl behind me fell asleep. So what he did,
we refer to that as target. Yes.
Yes. So he pulled out, he had one of the dummy grenades, and he put a cap in it and got a hold of it, waved two of us aside, went back to her desk where she was sleeping.
No, wait, you said he put a cap in it.
It was some sort of a little explosive cap, enough to make a
Oh,
bang.
like a blasting cap.
Yeah.
So we took the big explosive, we made it a smaller explosive.
It was safe.
Yes. Now, he wouldn't do it because he was that good, but just enough to get her attention. He slammed that thing down on the desk in front of this young lady, and when he did, he pulled the pin, released the spoon, it hit her. She heard that bang, and the next thing I know, at the desk behind her, all I saw was her going over that desk to get out of there.
Perfect.
She never went to sleep again.
Yeah. You need prayers and a diaper after that.
I didn't go into that.
Yeah. No atheist in a foxhole like Aaron out there.
Now, so that seems like fair payback to me.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the best, she'd lost a finger. We're fine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we could have, a finger for a back.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Well,
I hope she didn't have a nice set of manicured nails.
I don't know. She married one of the other guys in the class. I know where they're at now. But yes, that was good. The same two girls were up to pranks. And by the way, you know both.
Yeah, I do.
And a certain lieutenant had bad cold, and he was in his office. We took a break. The girls said, "Get your camera and come here." He was so far asleep, they put their lipstick on nice and thick, and he was out of it. They kissed him all over his head, his cheeks, back of his head. Well, they were taking pictures of this.
God.
well, hope he didn't go home like that.
I don't know. I said I didn't want any more information on that.
I didn't go to that academy.
No. Could you imagine that poor guy getting home? He's like, "How was your day, sweetheart?" He's like, "Oh, that's fine."
They should have sprinkled a little glitter on him too.
Yeah. Oh, yes. In fact,
What would really been a kicker is if they'd have painted his fingernails.
And then put hand lotion down his back. And a grenade in front of him. Oh,
Wait.
okay. You can't do that anymore in an
No.
academy. I mean, you can have fun, but yeah.
They call it hazing nowadays.
You want to talk about painting fingernails? I was a butt of that joke. That was in military. We were going on maneuvers. I fell asleep.
Pardon me. I thought you said we're going on manure there for a minute.
Well, where they sent us was nearly that.
Could have been.
Oh, I fell asleep on a plane. I learned not to do that. And they painted my fingernails.
And they just happen to have fingernail polish with them.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I repaid the favor to the one that did it. He and I are partners now.
Oh man. Okay. Different times in the academy.
Yes.
I'm kind of feeling like I missed out though.
Oh, 100%.
Well,
But we have all of our fingers.
There was no uniforms, nothing in regards to what there is now, no PT, nothing. And it goes back to when I started with the sheriff's office. I went through the interview. I went to see the head of personnel. Most of these men are gone now. And he finished the interview. He said, "Sign these papers." He opened the desk drawer, tossed me a badge, the ID card. He says, "You're a deputy sheriff now. Go get you a gun and a holster." And
Yes,
that was
sir.
it. That was it.
Yeah.
He said, "You'll go to the academy in a year or so."
Yeah. We'll get you there eventually.
Yes.
Now, Bonnie, you spent a lot of time working for the sheriff's office in Dallas County.
Yes, I did.
You spent I'm trying to figure out how to say this. You spent a lot of time in jail, right?
Oh, absolutely. I had reverse work release. I went to jail to go to work instead of get out of
Yeah.
jail to go to work.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the
And if someone asked me what my forte was, I'd say data collection specialist.
okay.
I was a fingerprint technician before they invented the APHIS machine.
Oh, that's fun. You rolled a lot of prints.
I rolled prints. I read prints. I had a lot of wrap outs, and it was always just a good feeling, especially when an officer from the city would bring somebody in and didn't know who they were. And I'd roll the prints and I'd look at the name and it would be somebody that I had a trustee over on the ladies' floor or something, and go back to the holdover around the corner. And that inmate be standing there and they just drop their head like, oh, I've gotten found out now. I said, well, we've got a new name to add to your collection today.
Now, in your time there working in the jail, you did a lot of intake processing. Obviously,
Correct.
you're talking about rolling out
Correct.
prints and stuff. Any good stories going back to the intake?
Well, there's a couple of them off the top of my head.
Bonnie, you remember the man and the woman, one claiming to be the sheriff? They brought a drunk woman in. That's when the holdover was just divided by a wall. Men went in one side, women the other. She was drunk and swore she wanted to see the sheriff, demanded to. Well, just a few minutes later, they brought a male drunk in. Well, he answered, I am the sheriff, dear. What's the matter? This conversation went on for 45 minutes until they took some of them for arraignment. No officer said a thing, but it was odd. By the next morning, it was on the news.
He really was the sheriff?
No,
Oh.
they couldn't see each other the way
okay. I was confused for a second. I was like, maybe he was the sheriff.
only in his mind he
Yeah,
was.
okay. I'm on the page now.
But did she really think she was talking to the sheriff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. She does.
Well, I had an incident one night. Dallas Police Department had a DWS squad that would work 2 or 3 nights a week, and they would gather up anywhere from 2 to 10 and bring them to jail. But they had one that came by that they brought into jail that was someone of notoriety. And once they got down there, of course, it was a lady. And I know a lot of Dallas officers that would much rather arrest 3 drunk males over 1 female because they are extremely difficult to deal with.
Oh, yes.
I can't even comment on this.
No, I mean, unofficially, their names are Karen.
This is before we had
I'm not
Karen.
going to touch it.
This was before Karen. It was like, I ain't got no time for that.
Okay, go ahead.
Even prior to that. But anyhow, they brought this woman in, and I took one look at the name, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I looked up at them, and I'm like, yep, that's who she is. Well, when they first came in, we'd take all their jewelry and money, anything they could have on them, that if they fall asleep in the holdover, that they would steal it. And of course, if you had 15 people, you got to shake them all down to try to find it if they haven't secreted it somewhere where we can't go. And I looked up at this lady. I said, ma'am, I said, you're going to have to give me your Rolex watch. She says, I don't take my Rolex off for nobody, even when I'm doing the horizontal lambada.
Okay.
Oh.
That's one way of saying it.
Word
nicely.
of the day, horizontal lambada.
Yeah. Well, you got to track time.
Yep. And I said, well, this is going to be a first then, sweetheart, because it's coming off. Now, either you take it off or I'll take it off. She reluctantly gave it to me, and we put it away until she got out of jail. But it was just the comedy of it all. And of course, all the Dallas officers were standing around, knew that I could handle her very well, and dealt with it. And they're like, oh, man, no floor show tonight.
Oh. When you say notoriety, was it somebody we'd all know or just
Yes.
in the Dallas area?
I don't know if they're still alive or not. Their ex-husband is deceased, but they were from Fort Worth.
Okay, that'll be after the show.
All right, Fort Worth Detective Curtis Hadley. Maybe you can do some detecting here for us.
Oh, well.
All right, Bonnie, let's talk on the break.
You're listening to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Visit us online at offbeatcopshow.com.
Let's talk to Daniel Cook now from Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. 833 Cook DFW is the phone number. The website is cookdfw.com. Now, Daniel, would you advise that someone call their insurance company immediately if something happens to their home?
Steve, that's a great question. And a lot of people don't fully understand what damage qualifies for within insurance guidelines. So we get a lot of storms, we get a lot of wind here, and not every one of those produce damage that the insurance company is going to qualify, or you may not even need to worry about. So I strongly urge clients, friends, anybody that's listening, please make sure you call us if all possible. We'd love to come out and make an assessment on your property, or call someone that you worked with before, because you don't want to get a 0 file claim or a negative claim put into your claimability history anytime you file a claim, whether they pay you or not, it goes onto your insurability record, and you're able to run what's called a clue report when you have to then file for more insurance or change insurance companies, or even when you renew. All those items are looked at, and it can affect if you can actually get insurance and what your rate is. So super important. Make sure you call a contractor first, unless you just have tons of like physical, visible damage that you know is going to become a tornado, a fire, large amounts of broken windows, major damage that's you don't have to worry about being covered. But otherwise, if you just see some hail coming through or high winds, does not mean you need a claim, but let's call us out. We can double check and make sure your home is safe.
And you offer free roof inspections, right?
Our services are complimentary. We just want to make sure your home is safe. It may only take a few minutes out of your day to just give you peace of mind later on.
Very good. Give the professionals at Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration a call for any of those roofing, remodeling, or restoration needs. The number is 833-COOK-DFW. The website, cookdfw.com. Be sure to ask about the free first responder upgrade.
Hi, this is Joanne Jackson. My husband, Dallas Police Officer Brian Jackson, gave his life serving the city of Dallas in 2005. The RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation supports the families of Dallas and Fort Worth area police officers and firefighters who have selflessly fallen in the line of duty. To donate, please visit offbeatcopshow.com or treehouseonair.com and click on the link.
And we're back. Back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. I'm your host, Steve Rutherford. Co-host for today's show, Detective Curtis Hadley.
Great to be here, guys.
And we're joined with two guests in studio. We've got retired Detective Bob Allwardt.
Good to be here.
And we've also got retired Deputy Constable Bonnie Watt.
Good to be here, gentlemen.
Now, this segment of Offbeat sponsored by Alexander Financial Management. If you have questions about retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, or estate planning, check out Alexander Financial Management at alexfm.com. And if you're a sergeant in Fort Worth Police Department, give the guys over at Alexander Financial Management a call. You might be able to retire sooner than you think.
Well, it's funny when you say that Bob's retired. I don't think he actually learned what retirement is. He's on his fourth one.
Yeah.
Bobby, do you have more retirements to do ex-wives or wives?
Yes.
I had to ask. I don't know. I don't know.
That's correct. I do.
Okay, good deal.
Good deal.
I'm still working on my first one.
And Bonnie knows the
And that's
one I'm
wife
with.
and career.
Curtis, with some hard work, you'll get there one day.
Keep coming back.
Now, Bob, your time at the sheriff's office, you were assigned to patrol during some of that, correct?
Yes.
And you had shared a story with me earlier about building searches.
Yes, sir.
What is the best building search you've ever done?
Well, it was out near Seagaville. I forget just exactly what crossroad it was off 175. It was a little convenience store gas station. I got a call from dispatch. They said there's a break-in there. Respond, your backup will be in route shortly. The back door was kicked open. So instead of waiting for backup, I went in the place, and I had a weapon out.
Yeah, you're gonna search a building. You're gonna have your weapon out.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and yes,
they'll be ready.
Some of it spooked me, but I kept on going through it, and I got into one room, and all of a sudden, behind me, I heard something very clearly say, "Draw, sucker." Well, I hate to
Okay.
admit it, but I did draw, and I shot an arcade machine.
You're just doing what it said to do.
Oh, I had to explain that to the captain.
What had happened was, dear Chief,
Dear Captain.
Although it did say draw a sucker, it didn't say draw and fire sucker. So,
Well, I didn't wait.
well, in my city, I was searching a building. Of course, we would always have two people to do a search. Well, we actually had a company, and I won't mention the name of the company, but the company made prosthetic devices, arms, legs, stuff like that. And you're on night shift, the alarm's going off, and this is one of those that had the alarm that had the siren and has a strobe light flashing. It's dark because we're on night shift when we're responding. Got an open door, so myself and this other officer, we're in there searching it, and it's just a weird place because you walk inside one room and they've got a wall of hands, and another place to have all feet. It was just creepy. But as we're making our way around, I was leading. He was checking some stuff. But I was in front of him. I came around by an opening and went out to their waiting room at the front of this office, and there was a wax figure there, statue, like life size. And of course, I got my gun out. It's at the ready. I take aim at it. And I'm like, nope, that's not real. And then I think to myself, okay, I know my buddy's walking down the hall here behind me. Should I tell him? I was like, no.
He'll figure it out.
So I just kept on going, and he came down the hall behind me. He saw it. Dude, he almost launched around in this thing. I mean, it was that bad. And after we were done, I'm like, what'd you think of that? And he's like, well, that scared the crap out of me. And I told him, I said, that I didn't want to tell you because I kind of want to get your reaction. And then we started thinking about it, like, damn, what if he'd taken the shot?
They say that in prosthetic place, you can't shop too much because it costs you an arm and a leg.
Yes.
Welcome back, Curtis.
I hear the overhead's kind of high too. So,
and and building searches were always fun. We had one place in one more building search story. Had a huge warehouse, and the warehouse had offices that were actually located out in the middle of it. And it was 2 stories, and there was a step to get up inside this office. I mean, it was like, I don't know, it's probably 4 or 5 inches. Had my backup with me. So, okay, well, we need to check inside this office. So he pulled the door. I stepped up and went inside the room. He made his dynamic entry behind me, tripped on the step, did like 3 somersaults, popped up in the corner with his gun covering the room.
There you go. High-speed low drag, baby.
I was hunched over laughing. I'm like, man, that was like the most dynamic entry I've ever seen. You threw little gymnastics into it and popped up on his feet with his gun in his hand. It's beautiful.
I absolutely hated mirrors when I was doing those searches at night. I mean, you come around the corner, you're like, man, this guy's got problems, and you realize it's yourself.
This guy needs help.
I even know of one that the Dallas Police Department had answered a call on a building like that, and as they drove by, they thought they saw somebody in the door, only to turn around and come back to realize it was a life-size individual cardboard character, and they almost drew down on it and blew it away too. So it happens.
Dear Chief, sorry I shot the cardboard cutout.
The building searches were different. I know I had just gone from patrol to a CSI detective. That's getting a little ahead, but another break-in, I was starting to work the scene, and this patrol sergeant said, building's clear, everything's good. And well, in the back of my mind, I was not so sure. About 5 minutes into this, checking the area, see what I needed to do, I could hear some rustling above me, and so I stepped back, and the burglar was up in the ceiling, fell through the ceiling, landed in front of me. I had to call him. I said, you need to come back and get your burglar.
Yeah. He just decided to drop in.
Oh, that he did.
So he just drops in front of you, and you're just like, freeze.
And we got him for criminal mischief.
Yes. He damaged the tangible property of someone else. Yes.
Well, he wanted to sue the company for his injuries.
It never ceases to amaze you. But hey, listen, I won't sue. Just let this go. Don't file charges. We'll call it even. Now, Bonnie, you worked as a bailiff for a while.
Yes, I did. It was in the felony courts at Lew Sterrett.
Oh, you've got to have some good stories from the courtroom then.
Well, I have a few. One of them that sticks out in my mind is because of all of the chaos that went on is that we were hearing a trial before the judge, and it happened to involve a bunch of gypsies. And, of course, us being in police work, we realize that they'll marry their second cousin's cousin or whatever, and we wind up being very close sanguinity, blood-wise too. And this guy had murdered somebody in the family, and the father of the girl also happened to have been the uncle to him.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Good Lord.
Yes.
Okay, go back to that again.
The father of the girl that was murdered, her husband happened to be her father's nephew. So don't ask me how it came about that way, but it's that
You could
kind
be
of
your own grandpa.
Exactly.
My head hurts.
Okay.
Well, I give up on him. I'm like, okay, fine, I understand.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it got down pretty heated, and all of a sudden, the dad who was sitting in the courtroom as in the gallery behind me pops up, comes running through the railing, and goes straight for the defendant. And I mean, it was kind of like Keystone Cops in there. The judge hit the panic button, and all of a sudden it rained deputies from the rest of the courthouse. I happened to have a friend of mine that worked at the city of Dallas on Expediter that had come down to see me while they were dropping off subpoenas up at the DA's office. He was in the courtroom. He was ready to pull down and all this. And I looked at, I said, he's a cop. He's a cop, Judge. He's a cop. They didn't know if he was a foe or friend. But I mean, it was kind of like the old timey Keystone Cops. Everybody was grabbing for somebody, and we had to get somebody out of the courtroom, and all
Nobody
this.
knew who was grabbing who.
No, and luckily nobody got hurt, and we went on and finished the trial. But I mean, for a second there, it was just like boom, and it just all broke loose at once, and it was because of the dad, the father of the girl, that happened to be the nephew of the husband. But that's the way gypsies intermingle and intermarry.
Close family.
Just keep it in the family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got him, Larry. That's my leg.
Ding, ding, ding,
Get the cuffs off me.
Oh. I'll pass.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, and of course, sometimes when another courtroom had a problem, they'd hit that panic button, and we all had two-way radios, and here we all were going running down the hallway and all this. My partner that day had wore a pair of cowboy boots. We get down there in front of the door. He grabbed the door, and he slides right by it, and he has to stop and come back and get back into the door to back up the officer in the courtroom that had his problem. But sometimes it was just funny as it could be, because here we all just running like heck, in street clothes down the hallways of the courthouse, and it's slippery because it's marble flooring.
Yes.
And if you don't have some kind of a grippy type shoe on, you're
It's
You
easy
may
to
be-
overshoot
it's-
the runway in those things.
well, not only that, you're kind of like you're sliding on snow and ice.
Yes.
So, but yeah, of course, afterwards we all sit around and laugh and have a good talk about it. But at the time, it gets pretty scary at some points too.
Yep.
Slid right past the door.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you got to put them in 4-wheel drive, man.
Wait a minute. 4-wheel drive. That's hands and feet, I guess.
Well, that's when you put the Crocs back.
Okay. Okay.
Any escapes or anything like you're trying to get?
No, not in the courtrooms I worked, but we did have one trial one day go out of the courthouse. But when they got to the bottom, they couldn't get out of the stairwell.
But Bonnie, you worked at Dallas County Jail, Lou Sterrett Jail for a while. You mentioned you might have some housing stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
You're laughing down there, so
I used to take my time, and we had another lady deputy that she would get assigned a vehicle by the county to go to any conferences. And we had gone down to Galveston for a Texas Narcotic Officers Association. Really, it was back then, it was DPS, because they were the ones that were doing all of the training on the outlaw bikers and things of that nature. And I had taken the time off, and she drove the car, and we split the room and everything. We went down there. There was a chief of police out of Calumet, Ohio.
Oh my.
Steve was his name. I think Steve Rhodes was his name, if I remember right.
I like the first name.
brother in name, right? Yeah. Anyhow, what he was talking about was eye movement. When you get to talking to somebody and they really get to focusing on what you're talking about, you're either sight, sound, or just in between. And, I can't remember the exact pattern, but if you're one of them, you look up. If you're the other one, you look down. And if you don't, it's just sideways. And of course, when you stop to think about it, now that I've mentioned it, you'll probably try it out on yourselves too. And you start thinking about it.
Wait a minute. Try it out on ourselves.
I'm thinking about it.
Back to your building search, looking at a mirror, Curtis.
Don't look up when you look at me.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
You'll probably want to investigate it for yourself. But anyhow, I had come back from that class and I was working the ladies' floor, the 10th floor of the Government Center Jail there on Commerce. And there was a fight breakout in the tank, and I pulled one of the women out. She was out in the hallway, was talking to her, and she kept going and going and going and going. And she's up to one point, she was right on track. She was telling me the truth, and then it stopped, and everything after that was a lie.
Yeah, she's being deceptive.
And I said, excuse me a second here. I said, after you said this, everything else you said has been a lie. And she just looks at me with her mouth just open, like, how do you know? I said, I have my ways. Now, do you want to tell me the real deal and not the made up one? And it was after that, word spread through the county jail that you can't lie on Watt, Captain Watt, because she don't know how she does it, but she figured it out. And it's just those little things like that. It's just amazing what you can and come up with at times when you're in the corner or whatever, you're trying to find out more. But yeah, in fact, to this day, I can watch an interview on TV with a political person or anybody, and I can tell what point they're starting to lie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And especially whenever someone comes up to you and says, well, I'm going to be honest with you.
Oops.
No.
It only starts out when they walk up and they go, hello, I'm a politician. That's where I stop.
That's the truth.
Bonnie, I must say, I'm glad I did not have the opportunity to work with you down there, because I'd walk around asking anybody, you know what?
Well,
it's all about what you know.
It's strange you should say
You know
that,
what?
Steve. I would say something. I said, Mother, you know what? She says, yeah, that's what the preacher pronounced me when I married your dad, Watt.
You know what?
I know Watt.
Yeah, but you know who?
That's true too.
So every time you jump in the air, someone says, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we just beat that one to
yeah.
death. Now, Bob, you've had a supervisor try to follow you before?
Oh, go ahead, Bonnie.
I want to hear this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll set the stage for the story. We got a patrol sergeant out there, and yes, it was female, but I have worked with some exceptional female officers. Just so happened she had an attitude that she knew how to do things better than anybody else. And she was just a few days after she was there. She said, well, where do you go? I said, I go places you don't want to go. And she said, I can find you any place. I said, Sergeant, I said, I'm asking you, please don't follow me where I go. You won't like it. And that was a challenge. And we're way, way down South Dallas County along the Trinity River. And believe me, it was dark. It was nasty. And so I knew that the sergeant was following me. And I pulled off on what they call a power line trail. And Bonnie, so you'll know, it was Bodark Road.
Yep.
And I went down Bodark Road. I had
Bodark Road. That is a good Texas name for okay.
Yeah, it was a power line trail, and I had a brake light. It was fixed, so she saw me only for a short time, and then my car disappeared. And I guess she didn't listen. She followed me into those woods that were so thick you couldn't see them from the air. Well, being the industrious character I was, I had it set up with a Dallas sergeant to meet him at Beltline in 175 at a 7-Eleven to allegedly change information. So I drove out. I knew where to go because it was moonlight. And I made it up there to the 7-Eleven, talked to the sergeant. I get a call from dispatch. They wanted to know my location. I'd explained it, and they said, you know where 210 is, which was the sergeant. I said, no, ma'am, I have no idea. They said, well, you need to report down back Bodark Road to the captain. I said, oh, my goodness, what's the deal? They can't find the sergeant. I said, yes, ma'am. And so I headed back down there. The interim, I found out they had been searching for her. They had other officers were coming in, and they actually got Air One up there, and it was so the tree cover was so thick you couldn't see. And when I got down to the captain, he'd asked me the same question: "Where was the sergeant?" I said, "Yep, I have no idea." He said, "Wait a minute. I know you run all these back roads." He said, "You can find things." I said, "Captain, what are you leading up to?" He just looked at me and smiled. He says, "Go in there and find her."
Go find your sergeant. She's lost.
That's exactly what it was. I said, "Okay, Captain, if this is what you want, I'll do that." So I pulled in, drove into the woods. I got way out of sight of the sergeant, or excuse me, the captain. And I said, "I'm going to make her wait a while." And so at that time, I liked cigars. So I got a cigar out. I lit that thing. And I went out and sat on the hood of the car, and I enjoyed the evening for a while.
Good sense of urgency. This cigar only takes a few minutes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I had to enjoy that cigar and the nice evening. And so when I finished the cigar, I went ahead and I got back in the car, and I found out where she was. I knew pretty well where she'd gotten lost. And when I drove up, she said, so here you are." I said, "Sergeant, what the heck are you talking about?" She said, "I knew I'd find you." I said, "Sergeant, I'm the one that came to get you. Your captain sent me in here to find you." I said, "I will get you out. Don't run into me." So I drove all the way out past the captain, pulled a little past him, and I stopped the squad. She was behind me, and I won't go into what the captain had to say to her. It was long and loud, and it lasted a while. So I got being quite interesting. I got another cigar. I went and leaned against the captain's car and listened to it, just like a good trooper. Well, he got through with her, turned around, looked at me, he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I thought you needed something else." He said, "No, go on back to your district." I said, "Not a problem, Captain." And so I slowly walked back toward the car, and this supervisor was getting into her car. And when she was getting into her car, I very quietly whispered to her, "I told you don't follow me into the woods," and kept right on walking. I never broke stride.
Nice.
They told me later she stuck her head up. She's looking for it. I didn't say a word. I got in the car and drove off. And yes, the story spread around.
And that person he's talking about soon made lieutenant and was my lieutenant in the jail. So
At least she's in the jail. She never had to go back in the woods.
that's right.
There
She
you go.
didn't go back to the woods.
This is Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Check us out online at offbeatcopshow.com.
Planning for the future is challenging, and getting where you want to go in life requires strategies built around your unique financial needs. Alexander Financial Management is here to help you reach your goals. As fiduciaries, Alexander Financial Management will pursue the best solutions for you, no exception. While their decades of experience and service are available to everyone, Alexander Financial especially wants to help first responders and their families. The founder is a former police officer, and the executive team includes a retired fire captain and a retired police officer. Their extensive background in public service gives a deep understanding of the public retirement systems of Texas. So for retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, and estate planning, Alexander Financial Management has your back, so you can look forward. Get more info at alexfm.com. That's alexfm.com. Investment advisory services offered through Transcend LLC, a registered investment advisor. TE3 and Alexander Financial are not affiliated entities. Insurance products and services are not offered through TE3, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.
And we're back. Back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. We're joined in studio today with two guests. We've got retired Detective Bob Allwardt and retired Deputy Constable Bonnie Watt.
What?
What?
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
What's up?
No, who? Who's on first?
Yeah, what's on the end?
What's on second?
Okay. guys, check out our website. If you have not been there yet, it's offbeatcopshow.com. Again, offbeatcopshow.com. You can listen to all episodes there on the website, as well as there's a link to the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation at the top of the page. Of course, the foundation established many years ago to assist the families of our fallen police and firefighters here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, covering 10 counties. The foundation provides monetary assistance, immediate monetary assistance in the situation. So a great foundation. I'd invite you to make a donation to that. Now, also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you give us a like and share the page with folks. If you're an officer, you've got a funny story you'd like to come on the show and share with our listeners, then send us an email, offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Again, offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Now,
we can do them remote too. So if we can just they can call from anywhere.
Anywhere in the world.
We don't offer airfare, but you get on a Skype. We'll bring you in.
Skype. Okay.
Better than MySpace.
Oh. Now, you're under MySpace stuff still, Curtis.
Hey, I'm still holding on, man. It's going to take off any day now.
You're buying stock?
Hey, Tom was my friend. He wouldn't lie to me.
Okay. Now, Don, you shared a story with this correction.
Bob. Bob.
I'm having
Said Don.
Somebody getting old.
It dawned on him.
Hey, what's up?
There you go.
Hey, now y'all quit using my name in vain.
Okay. Okay. Bob, on break, you mentioned a story about a prisoner that was being transferred out. And can you share that story with us?
Yeah. Lead up to the story was a prisoner during the time I was working in the jail early on. And he came up to bars at night and he said, "Captain, can I use the phone? They won't let me use it during the day." I said, "Well, you got a right to." I pulled him out of the tank. You lock him in a certain area to allow him to use the phone. And at that time, they changed, put Chocho is what they had for money. I'm sure some of you heard the reference. I know Bonnie has. And you gave him dimes. So over a period of a week or two, he was talking several times. I left him there until he was tired. And
that's awfully nice of you.
Well, I had nothing better to do. Let him talk. And when I did, I put him back in his cell. And about 2 days later, I came in a little early on a shift, and this same man was dressed out in, looked like a pinstripe suit. He was dressed to the tens. He was cuffed. 2 U.S. Marshals were with him. They were escorting him someplace. I'm not sure I wanted to know. But he told the U.S. Marshal, he says, "This deputy was courteous to me. Can I go tell him thank you?" He said, "That's fine." So he walked over to me, greeted me, held out his hand. I shook his hand. And when I did, he palmed a note to me and just whispered very low, "Read it later."
Uh-oh.
So
that's ominous.
Yeah.
Later that night, I actually got someplace secure, and I read the note, and the gist of it was that thank you for your courtesy. If you ever need my help for anything, and anything was underlined a couple of times, call this number. And he signed it. Well, at that time, did some research, and he was number 2 man in the Colombian drug cartel. I decided to put that note away.
So
If I made a call, somebody would have disappeared.
I was about to ask who answered the phone when you made that call there.
I wasn't going to make it.
You remember the number?
Did it start with 555? My look, I'd have called it and said, "McDonald's going to help you."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he got me.
Number 4, supersized. Good. Oh, yeah, that's yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, I think I would have held a lighter to it and just.
Thank you for
let
calling the
everyone
Colombian
know.
hotline.
Well, it went.
Press 1. Press 1 if
four.
you know the extension you'd like to reach.
Please listen carefully, as our menu may have changed.
Well,
Yes.
it faded to dust.
Press 2 for heroin. Press 3 for.
Mhm.
Oh,
Fentanyl.
yeah, heroin, cocaine, all this. Press 8 for coffee.
Yeah.
Plus 9 to start over. It's a loop. It's never ending.
Please hold. The next operator will be with you shortly.
Estimated time is 7 minutes.
Your place in line, number 5. Okay. All right. And press 9 to extend your vehicle's auto warranty.
We've been trying to get a hold of you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Took that one too far, guys. But,
Sorry.
and I would like to say, Bob, Bonnie, thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having
you,
you in
Don.
the studio. Thank you, Don.
Sorry.
I can't even close out the show. Okay. Again, Curtis, you might have to close this out.
Oh, you missed me.
Oh, I did. It's good to have you back, Curtis. Guys, until next time, keep it real, keep it funny, stay safe, and watch each other 6.